Welcome to another episode of 3rd and 3 with Coach Roger Holmes. I'm Jason Holcomb, joined as always with the coach. Coach, commanding victory over Jefferson County, 51-0. But besides the score, tell me what you saw out of that game that has you very excited about the final 2 weeks of the year.
Jason, we prepared well in practice. We talked about at some point this football team needs to figure out how to dominate, how to come out of the gate hot. And we did that the other night with our first offensive play of the game.
Yes, we did.
Damari Foster had a big long run there to start us off. I felt like our offensive line may have had their best night of the year. We were able to block a punt. Our defense had a safety, which scored points for us on the defensive side. So we played real solid football in all three phases and came out aggressive and ready to go.
Yeah, it was so exciting to see that play and him bust right through the middle like that. We had some big catches. We had some punt blocks, all that you talked about. And I want to make sure that I thank everybody who wore pink last week as our pink out. It was a good celebration. Saw some very beautiful pink faces. Our cheerleaders did a fantastic job. Also raised some money for them. But we want to thank you guys for doing your support. But we need your support for the final 2 weeks so we can hopefully get our playoff position where we want. But before we talk about that, let's check out our Optim Player of the Week. Well, Coach Ramontei, he's one of those leaders, and sometimes he's one of the quieter leaders, but he's still putting around talking and getting people going, and you talked about his play last week. Talk about what he means to this team.
Well, he's one of our never come off the field kind of guys. He plays defense for us. He led our team, had 2 sacks the other night, a tackle for a loss. Just a very consistent performance on the defensive side of the ball. Graded out, I think, 87% on the offensive side of the football, which is an exceptional grade for an offensive lineman in our system. And he handles all our long snapping, and all those were perfect the other night on the PATs. We didn't have to punt, but I'm sure he would have been on the money with that. But he's a prospect. He's got schools looking at him. He's a very athletic young man. He's a good leader, as you mentioned. Shows up to work hard, and couldn't be more proud to be able to name Ramontei our Player of the Week.
Yes, very much so. And like we've said with so many of our Players of the Week, a phenomenal person as well as a player. And that speaks to the character that's being built here with Dublin Irish football. And thanks again to our folks at Optim for giving us the opportunity to celebrate Ramontei and everybody this year, and especially for being out on the field. I saw Dr. Hansen out there, and thankfully we didn't need him.
We didn't need him much. That was good.
That's good. Let's hope that I always tell him, I hope you stay bored tonight, and my hope is he stays bored the rest of the season. But Coach, we're not going to be bored because we got another region contest, and we're going to be playing a crosstown rival in East Lawrence. Now, I know their record says one thing, but I know you never take that record to mean anything, because they're a rival and they would love to beat us, especially at that new football field. Tell me what you're doing this week to have the Irish ready to roll.
Well, I want them to understand what we're getting into. East Lawrence coming off a state weightlifting championship. I know there were a lot of people in Dublin, Lawrence County this year that felt like that East Lawrence Falcons were going to be the team of the year in Lawrence County, and things have not gone exactly the way they want them to go. But from a physicality standpoint, size, biggest bunch of running backs we've played against all year. Their offensive line is really, really big. So, from a defensive standpoint, they're going to run a defense very similar to what we faced last week in Jefferson County. So for our fans, there's a lot riding on this game. We both of us still have 2 games left.
Right.
They're playing to get in the playoffs, and if things fell perfectly for them, we could still end up in a 3-way tie for second between Bleckley, East Lawrence, and Dublin. And from a mathematical standpoint, it's very easy for that to happen. So they're playing for a lot. We're playing for a lot. And the facilities out there where they've redone them, they're beautiful. I think it's a very nice place to go play. The stands are much improved over what they had before. They put in the turf. And the weather's supposed to be beautiful.
Yes.
So all in all, it'll be their senior night. It'll be their last game of that their seniors will probably play in Falcon Stadium. So let's get ready to go across the river and jump into battle.
Yes, we want you guys to come out and support us. Kickoff is going to be 7:30 p.m. It's just a short drive across the river to East Lawrence. It's always a good environment there. Every time that we've ever played, it's always been a good environment. Hopeful that you guys will come out and support us, because we got to get these wins here. The more wins we get, the better chance we have of hosting a home playoff game and maybe a couple home playoff games. But we need you. So you guys come out to Falcon Field. 7:30 p.m. is our kickoff. Be sure to support these young men all year long, and make sure to support all our student athletes across Dublin City Schools. These young people are working. We've got middle school soccer, cheerleading. There's a bunch of stuff that's all getting ready to populate. Wrestling just had their first practice. So be sure to support our Fighting Irish athletes all season long. And just like you always do, be sure to tune in to 3rd and 3 with Coach Roger Holmes every Tuesday.